From Jax Teller of Sons of Anarchy catapulting him to fame, to always getting the best reviews even in the worst movies, here's why fans will follow Charlie Hunnam anywhere. The guy's been in the industry for ages, and unlike a lot of other actors, his career's clean of controversies. So much so that his fans have never had anything to complain about. During the 7 years that he was on Sons of Anarchy, he's been winning more and more fans over. Not only because he's super talented, and his character has the best arc, but also because of his bomb-good looks. I mean, he's one super hot guy, and it's not shocking that most of his fan base is made up of women. A lot of his scenes are pretty steamy. Jax has no problem taking his clothes off, showing off his super-toned body and perfect butt. But what gets the fans swooning is his signature smirk every time he licks his lips, takes a shower with Tara, or whenever he's around her. Although at its heart, the show's about a hero who, in the name of loyalty, was led down a path of moral decline by the violence of a motorbike club. Hunnam's character started out as a young, idealistic Sam Crow member. Over the course of 7 seasons, he turned into a vengeful leader who hurt his enemies mindlessly in the name of his lost love. Fans of Sons watched as their best character tried to make things better throughout his life, but was stopped by outside forces and his own bad choices. This led to a final act that they'll never forget. There were a lot of moments on the show that convinced fans that no one but Charlie could have been this amazing. Remember when he saved Tara from her stalker back in season 1? When her scary ex-boyfriend John Cohn, played by Jay Carnes, showed up, she changed her mind about getting back together with her high school love, Jax Teller. John went back to charming and tried to have his way with her, but she injured him, and he stopped. His investigation into the club is shut down, and he's asked to leave. Tara calls Jax to clean up the mess, and that's when the guy kills someone for the very first time. He shoots him in the head for what he'd done, and the two couldn't fight the sexual tension any longer and ended up making love right there on the floor next to the dead body. It's hot and creepy at the same time, right? That was the start of Charlie's domination over our hearts and souls, and he just kept getting more and more intense. By season 6, he turned into someone completely different from what he was at the start. Even before Jax found out that Clay had killed his father and other people to keep the Sons in the gun business, we all knew that Clay's death would be spectacular. By the end of season 6, when Jax shot Clay, he was no longer the strong leader he once was. Even though it was part of a plan to help the Sons stay out of trouble with the law, shooting him felt like justice had finally been carried out, and the entire credit went to Jax. Then finally, in the next season, he got a chance to do something he'd wanted for a long time. When Tara died at the end of season 6, he and the rest of the Teller family were devastated and were thirsty for revenge. When he got out of prison, he was determined to find the person who killed his wife, no matter what the cost, making the 7th season the darkest and bloodiest, because Jax had stopped caring about everything. It turned out that Gemma Teller Morrow, his mother, had killed his wife. This made him feel terrible, and it made him see all the sadness and darkness around him. Don't make his epic run as Jax let you think he's a one-trick pony, while he's become a household name because of Sons. He's starred in some amazing films. The English actors already impressed movie and TV fans with a wide range of interesting roles, everything from documentaries to science fiction. Charlie's had many standout roles, and I can't help but start with one of his most iconic movies. Y'all know I'm talking about 2017's King Arthur. Legend of the Sword, the once $25 million epic with a new take on the story of King Arthur. It starred Hunnam as the main character, and even though the film got some pretty bad reviews and didn't even do well at the box office, it did teach us one important thing. Charlie Hunnam can act his ass off. His performance as King Arthur was one of the best in cinematic history, so much so that when you think about the king, you automatically think about Hunnam. Arthur lives in the city's slums as a child because he was cheated out of his fortune and had no idea who he really was. The movie's director, Guy Ritchie, loved everything that the actor did. He was happy with the casting choice and acknowledged that Charlie worked very hard for the role. This big picture role soon landed him another one in the remake of the 1973 prison thriller Papillon, which was about a French prisoner named Henri Charrière. Since this was a 2018 remake of the groundbreaking original, people had high hopes for it. Henri was a safecracker in Paris who was wrongly accused of murder and given a life sentence on Devil's Island in French Guiana, which was known for being hard to get into and almost impossible to get out of. Even though the movie got a bunch of mixed reviews, everyone could agree on one thing: Hunnam gave a performance of a lifetime. He was praised for his emotionally compelling role as Papillon and for his crazy chemistry with Rami Malek. Both of these actors had to lose a lot of weight to look convincing as prisoners and had one of the most amazing transformations in history, showing just how dedicated they are. Charlie gave another breakthrough performance in the 2005 movie called Green Street. Even though the movie about football didn't do well at the box office, it's become a cult favorite, cementing Hunnam's place in the hearts of many viewers as well as football fans. In this movie, he played the head of a football gang called the Green Street Elite. He taught a young American, Matt Buckner, played by the uber-talented Elijah, about the shadier parts of the sport. The movie wasn't very good overall, but again, Charlie's performance was so great that they ended up winning a bunch of awards, including the LA Femme at International Film Festival. So it's safe to say that Charlie's one talented actor, especially since he's worked in almost every genre. Remember when he starred in 2015's Crimson Peak? Hunnam did a great job as the movie's hero, Dr. Alan McMichael, even though he only had a small role. Brought to the big screen by the brilliant horror director, Guillermo del Toro, the movie was set in 1887 and was about a young woman named Edith who married a mysterious man with a very violent sister. Her childhood friend, played by our favorite actor, had been in love with her all his life and didn't really trust her. Mysterious suitor, Sir Thomas, played by the villainous Tom Hiddleston. So, Charlie's character decided to save Edith from what seemed to be a very dangerous situation. Everyone loved the movie, especially its special effects, the amazing storyline, and all the jump scares. Again, while Hunnam had a small part, he made such a lasting impact, which is a big deal, especially given the fact that the movie had some big A-listers, like Mia Wasikowska and Jessica Chastain. This brings me to another one of his iconic roles, the lead in the 2013 fantasy movie Pacific Rim. In this sci-fi film, Hunnam starred along with some big Hollywood stars like Idris Elba, Charlie Day, and Ron Perlman. In the Pacific Rim world, huge robots called Jaegers were built to protect humans from huge sea monsters called kaiju. These Godzilla-like monsters come out of the Pacific Ocean, and they can't be beaten by regular means. Jaegers could only work when their two mind-linked pilots worked together, and Hunnam's character was one of the best pilots in the world. Not only was the story pretty cool, it brought some really amazing robots as well as some really scary monsters onto our screens, and Charlie nailed this performance too. He played the hurt, naive pilot who couldn't work well with other people, but stepped up to save the world absolutely perfectly. With all of these perfect roles under his belt, I don't think there's anything more I can say to explain why people love the actor so much. He's smart, talented, and is just the sweetest guy that everyone loves to work with. Fans can't wait to see what he does next. So there you have it. From always getting the best reviews, even in the worst movies, to Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy catapulting him to fame, that was why fans will follow Charlie Hunnam anywhere.